welcome everyone. My name is Kara Mason. I'm the Learning and Programs Coordinator with the Winnipeg Art Gallery. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the Winnipeg Art Gallery is located on Treaty 1, the original lands and waters of the Anishinaabe, Innuwak, Anishinaabe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Darcie Bernhardt is from Tuktoyaktuk and is joining us today from the unceded and unsurrendered Mi'kmaq territory. They graduated from the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design in 2019 and also earned a fine arts certificate from the School of Visual Art at Yukon College in 2013. Darcie's artistic practice primarily focuses on oil paintings and drawing various domestic spaces, memories, and contemporary life in northern communities. The work has been exhibited at various venues across Canada, and currently they have work on display in INUA, the inaugural exhibition of Qaumajuq, the new Inuit Art Center at the WAG. I'm sure you all are itching to get painting and get some insight into Darcie's process, so I'm going to stop talking and pass the floor over to you, Darcie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. So with the photograph I'm going to be working with is already a painting that I've done for this past show in June at Feely. For watercolors are a very important process for me, just for figuring out color patterns, or if I'm working with like a specific picture that I have in mind, usually because all of my work, most of my portraits that I work from are family photos or distorted old photographs. So what I like to do before I start is have a rough sketch. I'll show you if you haven't sketched out one of your drawings yet. Just even if it's just a portrait, or if it's just a portrait, or if it's just something you want to work with, have a general sketch. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, as long as you can figure out the lines, where the position is or the composition, or if you want to like zoom out, zoom in type of thing. I think for me, I like using very distorted photos just so you could kind of make it up as you go. Whenever you all feel ready, usually I like to use a round brush, or sometimes I also have this little tiny one that's just like insane. It's so tiny, so it's like good for like it's good for details like with these, with like the hair and stuff like that. So, and usually you could get it at an art store for like $2 to $1 max, or maybe even more. But I like using like the cheaper ones. This one I got at Desserts, so it's like it's very small. So what I like to start with is skin tones. I like to work with like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be, I kind of like using like very light sketches just to like get an idea of like what's in the painting. So I'm going to start with just the skin tones here. So I like to have like couple testers of just like skin tones. I'm using like I like to use, when I pick a photo, I usually work with my computer or a physical photo that works well. So yeah, I like having a separate one where I could just have a like testers before I actually do painting. And I want to start off with, so I want to do 2 of the same picture. The next one, we won't be looking at the photo at all. So if it's helpful, if you could have the photo reference, it could be on your laptop, it could be on your, like by your side, and try to paint it by the same color and the same tones. I like to start off very light with the skin tones.
Darcie, we have a question from Angela. They're just asking if they're not doing a person, what color palette should they start with, since there wouldn't be skin tones for them to work with?
I would go get a sketch ready and then kind of work in and then out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It could just be something.
Thank you, Angela. That was a great question.
Thank you. If you make a mistake, the good thing with like watercolors is that you have like at least 10 seconds to take off the watercolor. So most of it comes off. And it's so cool because like if you erase it, once it dries, all of the pencil marks are gone. So for this photo reference that I'm using, and then this one, it's very true to the color format or the color from the photo. And then the last one, the last painting or the last one, we're not gonna look at any photo references, and we're just gonna work from there. And I think that's the fun part about doing these sketches is that looking at the photo, then looking at your watercolor, you already like have an idea of the color. And I like when what colors look better maybe. What I like doing with flowers is when you have like a bunch of water and then with your watercolor, let's say it's this color, is that you grab a big amount. And I like having, what I love about watercolor is that you can just put it away and then it dries up again and you don't have to mix that color. But for me, I think this is a blurb. So grab as much as you can. And I like doing like a simple outline because you can just have so much. And then that's all you're doing. If you want to get like the details, it just goes so much. Extend it. One thing I will say is that if you're doing like big bulks of color, is grab as much as water as you can, like with, this is a round brush too, is to have the color and have this little mix here. And then it could just, because it has so much that you could just like add to it. And then it just kind of like does its own thing. So I'm gonna try to do a rough. And I like with watercolors adding more layers as you go. So once you finish like this little part of the section, let's just say this is the petal. Or next we'll do like, I'm gonna do the hair next on my picture actually. So once I let that dry, I could do another coat on top of that. So the thing with watercolors, I like to let it dry before I go on again. That's why I'm waiting for the hair. So I feel like this, I think this is called a blurb, is when you have all the watercolor and yeah, it's very satisfying. And with this though, once it's there, it doesn't really go. You have to really commit to the watercolor, which I like with my paintings too, is that it almost kind of, I feel like I treat it as if it were watercolor with all my paintings and portraits. I like doing a lighter color and just seeing what's better. But also if I really don't like it, I could just grab very quickly. I even like that sometimes too, because then it's just like, I could go back again and add like a little shadow. So it's all about, I like to work in layers. So once this is dry here, I'm gonna go back to the hair. And when it's all finished, I like to do, especially is dry brush, but like a really like, so like with this, when it's has like a nice dry to it, I put like, I'm gonna use my little tiny brush. So I'm gonna grab most the pigment of the watercolor. That way, it's almost just dry. So it's just like almost no water, but enough water for like the bigger details. Also, I recommend a little tiny brush because they're so nice. You know, they're just good for little details. That's when I like to finish with most of my watercolors. This painting actually is the one I'm working with right now. It's called Ningaking, which in Invalaktan means like kind of crying, pouting type of thing. So this is me with this little pup here. I haven't finished it yet, but so it's an expression meaning pouting. So I cried for that little pup, and then I got it from my grandmother's friend.
So Darcie, when you're working with watercolor, do you usually work on loose sheets like this, or do you tape them down? Do you use like a watercolor pad?
I mostly just work in sheets. I like to use a small size, and then because it's small enough and I don't really like, ooh, that's cool. Even though it's like so small, I could have it right beside me as a study. So it's just like I could look at it, I could pin it up the next thing what I want to work on like bigger. That way I don't have to look at the photograph, because it's like, you know what I mean? You could able to translate that better. Sorry. You're able to translate that better because then you know how it looks painted. I always, I feel like I need to do studies every time. Yeah, I feel like my favorite brush is the round brush, just because it's so easy to like go like you're able to block in, you know, you're able to block in, but then you're also able to like add like good like almost defined strokes, because then you'd have so much control. But I also do like yeah, but I feel like round is one of my favorite, because then you could just do this and you have all this, you're able to like block in more. I like to outline, and then I also like to like think of especially with my paintings, I feel like I like to think about light more. So I like to think about, okay, so there's harsh shadows on the shoulder, and think about where is it going. So I like to add very big parts. Then I also like to leave some parts because I'm just like, I don't know, that's how I think about it in my head. The paramedics are right beside me in my studio. So I like doing these like watercolors. It's just because then I'm able to like figure out how the light is. Because then it's like, because when you look at the photograph or you're working from a photograph, everything's in there, everything's there. There's nothing, you know, like you get this little shine from other spots, you know? Whereas like, I also like thinking about how, from what I remember from that day, like what, because like I think why I use photographs is because no matter what, our memory keeps changing it, which is also the interesting part. It's just like I never remember that it's green, but because I have a photograph, it's green of this shirt. So it's interesting. I like thinking about stuff like that. So I think like by changing it every once in a while, or like adding red instead or adding blue, I think is part of the is I don't know. I just like thinking about being able to translate from a photograph, but also from your head too, and what you remember from there. So I like doing really bold outlines. In the photograph, the pillow that she's sitting on is, I think, yellow. I like the color orange more now, or red. I feel like I'm good with the shirt, and then you could see it's so satisfying when it's like I like using a 5H pencil for like when I draw on top of the watercolor, but you see that there's just like there's no pencil marks anymore. Like it's so easy. Even on top of the watercolor, most of it is gone already.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm so obsessed with
Never
it.
thought that you could erase the pencil after you painted.
Yeah, it's so cool. I recommend a 5H pencil or anything higher than 3. But it's so satisfying. And then what's the orange? I'm gonna change my jacket.
So when you're making choices about what colors to alter based off the photograph, are you doing that with the intent of the colors like working better together as a whole in the piece? Or are you doing that just out of preference for different palettes?
I think about what looks better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think about like I try to avoid complementary colors too, because you see here yellow, green, red.
Okay.
And then it's going to be blue here, so there's already kind of complementary colors and the primary colors here. So I like playing with that. I like because I already know. Yeah, I like thinking about which colors look good together. But I also like that's why I like doing these little studies and these little tiny these watercolor paintings, is because then because color has so much meaning. So I like to play and I like to have a variety. So then I could see like, oh, I like this green shirt, but I don't like the green pants. It could be black. Or sometimes or I'll layer them because I like, oh, I love green, dark green, but I also love blue. So then I combine them, and then I have like with oil painting, you could layer so much paints. So so I like having references, photo references, and having like a copy, like a little carbon copy before I start. With watercolor too, it's just like you really have to know your colors, otherwise they'll get muddy really quickly. As long as you get the idea of how the shape is. And when, okay, this is a cool watercolor. trick is when so like the blurb, you know, like you do this with the blurb. So let's say this yellow. The blurb is when you have all this paint and you're blocking in a part. And then let's just say I might go back in on the leg, and then I'm gonna add a different color. Let's just say it adds like this little nice, see, just adds like this little nice little sheen of like a mixed color. It also leaves this like cool pattern, you know, or you could, this is what top trick too, is if I don't want to commit to it, at least then I could have a little parts of the color. So I might do this, like how block in, and then add another color on top. And right here, or actually here. And if I don't like how the color is, again, I could just take it off. It's so satisfying. Also, sometimes when I have paintings from oil painting, is sometimes I don't leave everything in, but I like to, so this is why I like doing the watercolors, is just like, I like to think about which parts are not completely finished, you know, which parts that are not like completely done. Because like in the original painting that I did, I didn't actually put the water. But I like to see how it could look, but because, again, it's just like, you have the green and the blue, it's just more preferences, you know? When you feel up to it, one exercise is to change one thing. So you see with my original one, I have red shirt. It's almost true to the color. I changed the pillowcase here. I changed a little bit here. And it's more of a gray here. But yeah, fun of watercolor, because then, or even just like most paints, is that once you put on the paint, you can't really go back.
I've just realized that. Kind of gone bad.
Yeah, you can't go back. But that's the fun part too.
Yeah, yeah. Let go of what you thought it was going to look like.
What's
To
that?
let go of what you thought it was going to
Yeah.
look like.
And I like doing the last one, because then at least then I already know how it's going to be a little messy. It's going to be a little distorted, but I mean, it makes me feel better about the first one I do.
Mhm.
Sometimes I find if you wet the color that you don't want as harsh anymore, if you want it lighter, like just adding straight water to it and then dabbing it with a paper towel, you can sometimes lift off some of that pigment.
Mhm.
Like Darcie was showing
So yeah,
when
like
they
one
were
of-
doing it
yeah.
before, they would pick it up
Yeah.
if it was fresh, but sometimes you can re-wet it and that will kind of make it fresh again.
Yeah, like the blurb when I'm doing, when I like want to add the blue on top of it. Let's do this. Actually, let's do this. This looks cool, because now it's like it's good to have watercolor painting, because our watercolor paper, because then you could add so many layers and it doesn't distort the paper too much. And it's a little expensive, but it's nice because then you could have, it's nice to experiment because then you could like figure out what colors you want or how you want to paint it. I usually, like when I finish a color, I like to dab out the water, like Kara was saying, and wipe off. It's almost done. Add. I like a tint in the sky, like a little tint. So I add a little bit of blue, mostly water. So my brush is very full of water. So that's perfect for me. And one also, if you with watercolor, is if you put water first, then like the blur, and then go wet it with the water, and then add a little bit of the pigment here, and you add on top. It leaves like this nice little blue on top. That's exactly what I wanted. It's like a nice muted blue.
Do you ever mix white into your watercolors, or do you typically just rely on the paper to basically be that white for you?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I like if I'm working with if I need like a certain color, I'll add it to it. But most, if I want white, mostly, I will just leave it blank, and then like do like a thin wash of water, like here. Like a thin wash of water, and then like a little bit of blue.
Yeah, I love the transparency you get by doing that.
It's just I find when I try to do like white, it almost like makes it more cloudy. Just depends what you want. But I don't like using that for some things, but yeah, for the most part I like using like the watercolor paper already as a color, and adding on top of it because I feel like it's nice and subtle.
Yeah. It makes the other areas where you've not used as much pigment also kind of stand out more, like the green shirt where it kind of gets softer there. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. So add to the green. My favorite part when I'm finishing a watercolor is a little tiny brush. Because now I could just add more details. Favorite part too is adding like at least one little pattern. Could be in the shirt. This time I want to add in the pillow.
So we have a question from Lillian. They are just asking, how do you express your personality in your paintings?
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like in a way, I wouldn't say, I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like with these are already personal. These are already like, these are portraits of like my family. This is from my childhood. And I feel like I try to leave everything kind of blank and kind of this idea of memory into it. And I feel like I always think of things like are unfinished or not like unfinished, but like are distorted, and it also leaves like this nice, it's very I feel like I like to think that I'm very like very calm. So I like to take my time with all of like each color I choose, each one, like each color, each pattern. I like to consider all of the pieces and before I paint everything. So I like to think about yeah, I feel like I like to think about the bigger, like the painting more. And I feel like because they're all personal photos, so I feel like I try to capture whatever I can from my memory. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really thought about, I guess my personality is like trying to show my family and show where I grew up type of thing. I don't know. For me, I just like want to show where I grew up and the people who raised me. So in a way, I'm not. This is not just my personality. It's also just like little snippets of people who are important to me, and who are. So I changed a little bit of the pillowcases. Changed the jacket. And I feel like this is drawn better. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the Pepsi. Maybe this time I'll put Coca-Cola. See, I put a little Pepsi can on here. This time I'll do Coca-Cola. The little brush is so fun. I always try to make sure I have a bunch of tiny brushes. That way I could do, because I like doing, like adding more detail. Let's just say this. Okay. I think that's done.
So now they're going to do the same image, but without a photo reference. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
And this is a fun, I find this is a fun exercise to kind of, because I find to kind of loosen up a bit, because then I find with this this watercolor, you just are, you know, you're going really tight. You're trying to make sure you get all the colors. And this one's just more fun because then you just like do everything very quickly. I like to do this before I paint because then it just warms me up, and then it like I like to keep everything nice and loose. So it's nice and quick, very, very gestural. Gestural, just like really quick, big strokes. And then moving on really quickly. So not thinking too much. And the tricky part with working fast is that, see here, is that once the color gets seeped in, it goes everywhere. So that's the downsides of watercolor. It's just, okay, I did green for both times. So I'm gonna do red this time. Or no, I'll do purple, It's interesting because then you like, you forget certain things. It's fun because then you think about the picture differently.
So Preet just put in the chat that they would love to follow your Instagram, Darcie. So I have just linked to that in the chat if anybody's looking to follow you.
Sweet. And my Instagram handle is same as my email. @gmail.com. Nice and quick. I'm gonna put the water a little darker this time. Just to see how it looks, maybe in a little bit of green. Try not to do the whole thing. So I'm trying not to do color or paint in the everything. This looks so different from the photo. I could already tell. So now I liked how the tree line looks like actual trees from the wet now. It looks better. I actually like the brown shoe more. Like pink or like different, like bright colors like that. It's helpful when you get like real, like I think it's helpful if you get like really good pigments. So like good watercolor paint paints or like good acrylic paints, I find. Then it's easier for you to make different colors. I think I'm done for this one at least. So we'll show all the three. So this is the first one I did like maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And then this is the one I did again. I'm still gonna probably go back into it and take my time more. But you could see, change some stuff. I feel like I could probably put more. It's hard to because with watercolor you have to let it dry and then go back into it. So I find it's always easier to let it dry and then go back in and have a fresh pair of eyes. And then this is the really quick one I did. See, I like the colors more in this one. You know? I like the colors more than the photo actually. But you see in this one, the one that we did that I did during here, you can't see the pencil marks.
Mhm.
It's so cool.
Just the last one, you said you like the colors better, and you know it really does make the figures much more, you know, distinct. They stand out, and
It
yeah.
stands out more, huh? Than this one. Like I feel like she blends in more.
Mhm. You kind of appreciate her posture more in the
Yeah.
second one.
Darn. Now maybe I could redo that painting again. You know? So this is the fun part. Because then you get to because I like doing these fast ones is because it's so quick. You just go by, okay, these two go together.
Mhm.
Like which one? Yeah, it's just more quicker. You don't think about it too much.
Yeah, it seems very intuitive for you.
See if you keep like, oh, maybe I'll do this and this and this. You know what I mean? You think less about it. It's more, yeah, it's way more intuitive.
Well, I'll share mine just because I do presentations at work and I hate it when nobody talks.
Whoa, yeah.
So here's my photograph.
Oh.
I don't know where my camera is.
Oh, I see it. I
Anyway,
see
little
it.
girl on a swing. It's got a lot more detail. Maybe was a good choice for this. So this is my first one, and
Oh, that's cool.
this is my first time, really my first time making anything with watercolors. So I'm just so excited. It's so much fun. The people in the back more than anything. my girl on this, well, she doesn't look happy. But then my second one is totally different.
Yeah, see?
It was
You get rid of the people.
fun
'Cause I
just
feel
to
like,
try and do it quick. So yeah,
yeah.
definitely take away the idea of just do it and then do it again. Because I grind away. I've been painting a bit with acrylics, and I'll just grind away on something, and it's like I got to keep doing this, you know, rather than just stopping and starting something else.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh wow. Did you do like my photo? That's cool.
Yeah, I'll be finishing it tonight, but I'm wondering where can I send it to you? I can
Oh,
like
of
I'll
course.
share it with you once I finish it.
Yeah, that would be so cool. If you have Instagram or something like that, that'd be so cool. Aw, that's so cool.
Okay. So we have your Instagram. So I'll maybe tag you if I like
Oh,
share it.
yeah,
to
that's
there.
so cool. I like this more. Whoa, this is so cool.
Sure.
Wow, yes.
Oh, Lillian, is that the one done with the acrylic medium? Was that you that was using the acrylic medium?
Yes, yes, that's
Ah,
acrylic
okay.
medium,
Okay.
and it's abstract. I'm calling it, I'm looking at you because you can see two faces there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And I also used some tissue paper that was pre-painted that I tore up and put into the painting as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I see what you mean by textures now.
Yeah. That's
Can you
super
see it there?
interesting.
Yeah, I think you can see it. There.
And Angela, I see that you guys have a couple pieces over there. Did you want to unmute and you can talk to us about them as well?
Okay. That was the first one working off the photograph,
Oh, that's cool.
Cosmos and Zinnias.
Mhm.
And then the looser second one, which I preferred, to be honest.
Mhm.
These
There.
are so good. Everyone did
Oh.
such a good job. I'm so impressed.
And Anushka did her cello.
I'll give
Oh,
it a
that's
second.
cool.
It's
That's so cool.
overexposed
There.
if you want to just
It's
tap your
over-
screen.
there we
There we go. There we go.
Lovely.
Wow. You play the cello and you can paint like that? That's very
So
impressive.
cool. That's so
Pretty
cool.
amazing. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Darcie, thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of that information with us. I've got a couple messages that were just sent to me saying thank you and that they very much enjoyed the time. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. You give off such a calming vibe that I'm sure everyone very much appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, thanks.
I always feel like I do watercolors on my own, so it's nice to have a little group with me, even if it's virtual. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.